So this evening we're going to start seated. So sit however is comfortable for you, and whether that be on your knees or cross-legged, or one foot in front of the other, or maybe one foot on top of the other so that you're in lotus, whatever is most comfortable for you. And we'll start just holding the right forearm with your hand and making a fist with the right hand. Just circle through the wrist, nice and slowly, one way for a few rotations. And then we'll go the other way for a few rotations. Making sure the spine's nice and tall and you're sitting on your sit bones. And then we'll switch to the other hand, so support the forearm and then circle through the wrist with a closed hand. And then the other way. And then circling through the shoulders, hunching them up towards your ears and then dragging the shoulder blades behind the back. So a few circles to the back, and then the other way, squeezing the shoulder blades behind you and then rolling those shoulders forwards. Good. And then bring the hands to the knees, really circle through the body. So really circle the ribs around, bringing them forwards, taking them back, trying to get as much movement into your spine as possible. We've got quite a flowy class this evening that's going to stretch us and get us moving in all sorts of different directions. So then take those circles in the other direction. Good. Okay, then reaching the arms up above the head, nice and tall, keeping the spine really tall. Take a nice big inhale and reach the left hand higher than the right, but keep really straight. And then exhale it back down. Inhale the right arm up, exhale it back down. So we're really stretching the lines of fascia down the sides of the body. Inhaling up, exhaling down. Inhaling up, exhaling down. Inhaling up, exhaling down, inhaling up, exhaling down. One more each side. Inhaling up, exhaling down, inhaling up, exhaling down. Then bring the arms in front of us, one arm on top of the other, so the fingers are on the elbows. Take a nice big inhale and keeping these arms in the same shape with your shoulders, twist from the middle of your torso as far as you can around to one side. Inhale back to center, and then exhale, twist around towards the other side. Again, keeping those arms and those shoulders exactly in the same shape. It's only the movement coming from this middle part of our torso. So we inhale center, exhale twist, inhale center, exhale twist. Inhale center, exhale twist, inhale center, exhale twist. Excellent. Coming back to center. This time we'll reach our arms up above our heads, reaching up towards the ceiling. Nice big inhale. And then exhale, bring your elbows back, coming into cactus, but really opening your chest as well. Inhaling up. Exhale, squeeze the shoulder blades behind you, open the chest. Inhale up, exhale, inhale up, exhale, inhale up, exhale. Good. Then take the hands straight out to the sides with the thumbs pointing down. Bend the elbows so the fingers are down towards the floor. And then we'll take our fingers back. So the back of our fingers comes to our sides, so the palms are facing out. From there, we then squeeze our elbows towards one another. So this will be a really big stretch down the back of the top and down the shoulder muscles. So So inhale to open, exhale, squeeze those shoulders together. Inhale to open, exhale, squeeze. Inhale, open, exhale, squeeze. One more, inhaling to open, exhale, squeeze. Excellent. Okay, taking the arms back, we're going to come over our feet onto our knees. I'm going to go sideways to show you, tucking our toes under. Now, you might need to stay on your knees in order to tuck your toes under. You might be able to come back slightly, maybe taking more weight back. You might be able to sit all the way up. Do what's right for your practice, but just make sure that these little toes are curled under. And then take a nice few inhales here. Just having a gaze somewhere soft in front of you and just stretching out through those toes. If it helps take your mind off your toes, then you can always do the inhales and the cactus arms, stretching the chest open, maybe 3 of those. And then bring your hands to your heart center. And if you can, roll back onto your toes. So essentially your knees come up off the floor and you balance on your toes. If that's too much with your hands at heart center, drop your fingers to the floor and just go back onto your toes. Find your balance, squeeze your knees together, squeeze your inner thighs together, and then come up with your hands at heart center. So we're coming into a toe stand. So this is really good for strengthening through the feet. A couple of breaths here. Keep your gaze really focused on a point just in front of the mat. And then keeping the legs engaged. So keep the legs squeezing towards one another. Keep the ankles squeezing towards one another. Take a nice big inhale as we bring our arms out to the sides above the head. And then exhale them down the center of the body. Inhale the arms out to the sides and then above the head. Exhale, bring them down the center of the body. Keeping the core in, keeping the back nice and long. Inhale the arms up. Exhale, hands down the center of the body. Good. Take the hands all the way to the floor. And then allowing your heels to come down, stretch the hips up towards the ceiling so we're in a forward fold. And then gently roll all the way up, curling the spine with the head coming up last. Now, if you're not already, move to the backs of your mats. So we're going to do some flows through the spine. So start off by taking your chin to your chest, as close to your throat as you can. And then round the spine down slowly, bone by bone, by bone, by bone, by bone. Bending your knees if you need to come all the way down to the mat. And then walk your hands forwards to the top of the mat and drop the hips down into plank. From plank, take a nice big inhale. Take the hips down further into your upward facing dog. So the chest is stretching forwards, and then take the hips back up into plank and then onto your downward facing dog. Walk your hands all the way back towards the toes and then roll that spine up, bone by bone by bone, pulling the tummy muscles in, coming all the way up with the head floating up last. Inhale the arms up above the head. And then as you exhale the hands down by the sides, tuck the head, chin comes to chest, roll down through the upper back, the middle back, the lower back, pulling the belly in, bend the knees, down we go. And then walk all the way forwards into plank. Breath in plank, hips are nice and low. And then take the hips down, untuck the toes, come into your upward facing dog. Chest is stretching forwards. And then take the hips back up, roll over the toes, coming into our downward facing dog, and then pushing the hands all the way back to the feet again, and curling up through the spine. Nice and gently, trying to make the movements as flowy as possible. Inhale the arms up. Exhale, hands back down by the side. Start rolling the spine again. Head, middle back, lower back, coming all the way down to the floor. Walking the hands forwards into plank. Take a nice deep breath. Take the hips down, untuck the toes. Stretch the chest forwards, engage the legs. Then take those hips back through plank, up into downward facing dog. Walking the hands back towards the feet again. And then rolling up from the hips, the lower back, the middle back, the upper back, head coming up last. Inhale, arms up above the head. One more, exhaling all the way down. Tuck the chin, roll through the upper back, the middle back, the lower back. Bending the knees. Walk the hands all the way forward, coming into your plank pose. Then take the hips down towards the floor, untuck the toes, engage the legs, stretch the chest forward in upward facing dog. Then take the hips back to plank, up further into downward facing dog. Walk the hands back towards the feet, and then roll all the way back up, pulling the tummy muscles in. Head comes up last. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, hands back through heart center. Good stuff. Coming sideways on our mat. Nice big wide step. Feet are pointing in the same direction as our knees. They're pointing outwards. Inhale the arms up above the head. Really reaching up, and then engage the legs. Make the legs really, really, really strong. Then we'll sweep the whole body down towards the left, across the middle, and all the way back up to the top. So we're really using our core, not moving our legs. Then go the other way. So inhaling as we come down, exhaling as we come back up, and then back the other way. So inhaling as you go down, exhaling coming up. Legs are really strong. Then reverse the movement again, inhaling down, exhaling up, making the movements really flowy. So moving with your own breath, keep going one way and then the other way. Really grounding down through those toes. Engage the thighs, pull those knees up. So really getting lots of movement into the spine. Excellent. And when you've done equal rounds, both sides, come to the top and then bring the hands together, extending out the first finger. And we'll do it again, a few rounds in each direction, but this time with the hands clasped and the fingers together, and just feel how that feels different in the body. So inhaling as we come down, notice how it's different through the shoulders, and then exhaling as you come up, and then taking it the other way. Maybe reaching those fingers away as you come through so they don't graze on the ground. Good. Inhaling down, exhaling up. One more each way. We're really keeping those legs nice and strong. And then once you've done equal both sides, come back up to center, keeping the arms up above our heads. We'll take the left foot and point it towards the top of the mat. Take the back foot to kind of a 45-degree angle, and then take your hips to face the top of the mat. And then we will float the hands down to frame either side of the front foot. It doesn't matter if you need to bend the front leg slightly to get your hands down. Equally, if you've got blocks, you can use blocks. And then just try and lay your body down the front leg into pyramid pose. Make sure the legs are really, really strong. So the thighs are engaged. The feet are really pressing into the mat. And our upper body is relaxed. Shoulders away from the ears, you've got plenty of space around the neck. And let the head hang heavy. Then bringing some more structure into the pose, just lift your torso away from the front leg, pulling the tummy muscles in and stretching the chest forwards towards the knee. Feel how that changes the stretch on the back of the legs. Couple of breaths here. And walking the hands around to the side of the mat, bring the left foot with you. Keep walking to the back of the mat and then take the right foot towards the back of the mat, moving the feet so they're comfortable, and come into pyramid pose on the other leg. So first of all, take as much bend in the front knee as you need and lay your torso along the leg and completely relax the upper body. Head hangs heavy, legs are strong, feet are pressing into the mat, thighs are engaged. Couple of breaths here. And then engage the torso, pull the tummy away from the thigh, stretch the chest towards the knee, and just feel how that changes the stretch down the knee, down the back of the legs. And then once you've had a couple of breaths there, walk back around towards the centre of your mat, bring the feet with you. And then when you get to centre, drop the hips down towards the mat and take your hands up onto your knees. And then we'll stretch out through goddess pose. So dropping one shoulder in, pressing the knee away, and then dropping the other shoulder in. So getting a nice stretch down the side of the body whilst we're gently twisting the spine. Hips are nice and low. Press the feet down into the mat. Excellent. And then once you've done both sides equally, come all the way up, stretching the hands up, looking up, and exhale the hands back down by our sides. Step the feet together, coming towards the back of the mat again. Take the feet, so they're definitely next door to one another. I know normally I say either feet together or hip width, whichever feels more comfortable, but for this one, feet together, ankles together if you can. Bend your knees. Take a nice big inhale, hands at heart center. And then as we exhale, we'll go all the way down into toe stand. So find a real strong point of focus. Take a nice big inhale here. And on an exhale, press all the way back up to standing again. Good. Take a nice big inhale at the top. On an exhale, go all the way down, pulling those core muscles in, pressing the legs together to give you more stability. Excellent. Inhale at the bottom, and then exhale, press it all the way up. Good. You can always use your hands on your knees or on the floor if you need to. Take a nice big inhale at the top, go all the way down. Get really focused at the bottom, squeeze the legs together, keep the spine up nice and tall, pull the core in, and then push all the way back up. Excellent stuff, well done. Coming all the way down for the last time, pulling the tummy muscles in, taking your fingertips to the floor if you need to, otherwise just gently touch the knees down. We've got that beautiful stretch in our toes again, where the toes are really tucked under the heels. Just have a few breaths here. And then bringing the fingers to the floor, untuck the toes, put the feet flat, sit the heels back down again, and then lift the knees. So we're stretching the toes in the other direction. Those of you that come to my classes often know that I really hate this stretch, but I think sometimes it's good for you. So really lifting those knees, couple more breaths, and then pop the knees back down again. You can see they're very short breaths on that stretch because I hate it so much. Okay, so now we're going to flow again with the breath. So starting in child's pose, so bring the head down to the mat and the hands come round towards your feet. As we inhale, we'll lift up, reach the hands up, little back bend, take the hips forward, and then exhale as we go all the way back down to the starting position. So inhale as you come up, lifting the hips forwards, lifting the chest, reaching the hands back, and then exhale, curl the other way, hands come back down by your feet. So inhaling up, hips come forward, chest opens, reach back, little back bend, and then exhale, coming all the way back down, hands coming back down by your feet. 3 more, moving with your own breath, inhaling up, opening the chest, and then exhaling, coming forwards. Inhaling to come up and open and stretch, and then exhale to come forwards. Inhaling up, and exhaling down. Then once you've done your 3 rounds, come back to seated, and then take the hands in front of you into tabletop. So just a little bit to fire up our core. So tuck the toes underneath and then lift the knees to hover just above the mat. So this is called beast pose. So really squeeze the core muscles in. Tuck the tailbone under slightly if you can. Knees hovering as close to the floor as you can manage. Lift the left hand, trying not to move anything else. Lift the right hand, trying to move, not to move anything else. Lift the right foot, put it back down. Lift the left foot, put it back down. So it's like a little circle. Left hand, right foot, left foot. Left hand, right foot, left hand. One more. Left hand, right foot, left foot. Pop the knees down, go back to child's pose. Have 3 deep breaths in child's pose. Then coming back up into tabletop, tuck the toes. We'll go back into beast. So lift those knees, pull the core muscles in, get really strong. Then we'll do circles the other way. So keeping the core, the shoulders, the hips as still as possible. Lift the right hand, lift the left hand, left foot, right foot. Just a tiny bit off the mat. Going round, right hand, left foot, right hand, left foot, right foot. One more circle, right hand, left foot, right foot. Good, pop the knees back down, take the hips back towards the heels, relax the head down, 3 deep breaths in child's pose. Excellent. Then once you've had your 3 breaths, come back to tabletop. Tuck the toes, take the hips back up towards the ceiling. There's 2 options here, depending on how much space you have and also depending on how mean you want to be to yourself. So we'll do the right leg first. We'll float the right leg up behind us, reaching the toes up as high as we possibly can. Your 2 options on your exhale, either exhale the knee to the outside of the right tricep and inhale it back up, or if you've got more room or you want a stronger practice, take a nice big inhale and then exhale the foot right out to the side, reaching it forward towards your wrist, and then inhaling it back up. It's up to you. We're going to do 6. So if you want to do 3 and 3, feel free to do 3 and 3. So inhale up, exhale forward. Inhale up, exhale forward. Inhale up, exhale forward. Inhale up. 3 more. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Good. Inhale up. Put the feet back down onto the mat. Big bend in the knees. Stretch your chest through towards your thighs. And then tease your legs straighter. Doesn't matter whether your heels touch the floor or not. Okay, other side. So, inhale that left foot up towards the ceiling, as high as you can reach it. Exhale it forwards. Inhale it up. Exhale it forwards. Inhale it up. Exhale it forwards. Good. 3 more. Inhale up. Straight leg if you can. Inhale up. Pull those core muscles in. Make sure your whole body is involved in the workout. I've lost count now, so I've done an extra one just for good luck, I think. Inhale up. Feet back down onto the mat. Bring the knees down onto the mat, nice and wide. And then sit back into wide leg child's pose. Head on the mat, relax the shoulders. Good. Next little flow. Coming back up to your tabletop. Tuck your toes. Take your hips up into downward facing dog. So this time exercise is the same for everybody. Inhale the right leg up behind you. Bend at the knee and really stretch open the hip. So the feet are going over the back towards your left shoulder. Take a nice big inhale here. Exhale, crunch that knee to the left elbow. Inhale it up, open the hip. Exhale, bring it through, crunch it to the opposite elbow. Inhale it up, open up the hip. Exhale, crunch to the opposite elbow. 3 more. Inhale it up. Exhale, crunch. Inhale up. Exhale, crunch. Inhale up. Exhale, crunch. Good. Inhale up. And then drop that foot down to the mat. You can always move onto your knees if this is too challenging in down dog. Let's do the left side. Inhaling that knee up. Open the hip towards the ceiling. Get stretched through the psoas muscle. And then exhale, crunch opposite elbow. Inhale it up and open. Exhale, crunch. Inhale up and open. Exhale, crunch. Good stuff. 3 more. Inhale to open. Exhale, crunch. Inhale, open. Exhale, crunch. Inhale, open. Exhale, crunch. Good. Inhale to open. Straighten yourself back up. Reach the toes up towards the ceiling. Then bring the foot down. Bring the knees down. I've taken my knees wide into wide leg child pose. And then take the hips back and relax. 3 deep breaths. When you've done your 3 deep breaths, come back up into your tabletop. Tuck the toes, take the hips back up into downward facing dog. Float the right leg up behind you and then bring it forwards, giving it a little tug if you need to, until the foot comes between the hands at the top of the mat. Keep the left hand grounded down on the floor and peel the right arm open into a twist. Now you can either stay here in this twist for a few breaths, or if you want to bring some movement into the pose, dip the back knee down and then straighten the back leg out. Dip the back knee down, straighten it out, dip it down, straighten it out. Beautiful. And a couple of breaths here in this twist. Bring the hand back down to the mat. Step the back foot forwards so we come into a forward fold. Inhale, really slowly roll all the way up through the spine. Extending the back up, head floats up last. Inhale the arms up towards the ceiling, opening the chest. And then exhale the hands back down to heart center. Good work. Inhale the arms up. Exhale, folding forwards. Inhale, halfway lift, long back, long neck. Exhale, fold. This time take the right leg back. Keep the right hand grounded. And inhale the left arm up into twist. Either stay in this twist, or if you want movement, dip the back knee down and extend it back out. Dip it down, extend it out, dip it down, extend it out. Keeping a couple of breaths here. Really trying to stack the shoulders on top of one another, reaching that top arm back as far as you can. And then float that hand down to the mat and step the front foot back into plank. Bring the knees to the mat and then keeping the elbows in, dip down until your elbows touch your ribs and then push back up again. So we're not coming all the way down. Inhale, elbows into your ribs and then push the ground away again. One more. Inhale, elbows to ribs, push the ground away. Good. Tuck the toes if they're not already. Push the knees up so the hips come up into downward facing dog. Have a wiggle and a jiggle in your dog, however you fancy today. Stretching the chest through towards your thighs. Knees can be as bent as you need them to be. Fingers nice and wide, pressing down through the whole hand. And then tiptoe your feet all the way up to the top of the mat. As you exhale, bend and lay your body over your thighs. As you inhale, straighten the legs, straighten the back into a halfway lift. Exhale, bend the knees, relax over the thighs, let the head hang heavy. Inhale, halfway lift, straighten the legs, straighten the back. Exhale, bend. Inhale, lift. Exhale, bend. Inhale, lift. Exhale, bend. Inhale, lift. Exhale, bending over the legs, really letting that head hang heavy, any tension in the back releasing. And then this time, inhale, roll all the way up to the top, uncurling the spine, head floats up on top. Inhale, arms up above the head. Exhale, hands to heart center. Good. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, folding forwards. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, folding forwards. Take the left foot back. This time, inhale the arms up into high lunge, crescent or warrior one. Take a nice big inhale. And exhale, the elbows come back into cactus. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, arms into cactus. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, into cactus. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, float the hands down to frame the front foot. Take the foot back to plank. Bring the knees down towards the floor and then use the strength in your arms to really slowly lower down, all the way down, and then come forwards into cobra. Stretching that chest forwards. A couple of breaths here. Relaxing the shoulders down the back. Lots of space between the shoulders and the ears. Feel the core nice and tight. And then as you exhale down onto the mat, tuck the toes, take the hips back towards the heels, press up into downward dog once more. Float the left leg up behind you, really stretching those toes up as high as you possibly can. And then squeeze the knee in towards the chest and bring it all the way forwards. Drop the back foot into warrior legs and windmill all the way up into warrior two. Stretching the fingers apart from one another. Looking out over the front fingers. Couple of breaths here. Really strong in your warrior poses. Legs are really pressing down. Feet are strong on the mat. Thighs are engaged. Nice big inhale here. Then exhale, wimble around to the front foot, twist onto the toes of the back foot, step forwards and fold. Inhale, halfway lift, long back, long legs. Exhale, fold. Inhaling, coming all the way up to the top. Stretching up, reaching up. Exhale, hands back to heart center. Other side, inhaling, arms up. Exhaling, folding forwards, big bend in the knees. Inhale, half lift, long back. And then exhale, fold. This time take the right toes back. Ground down through the feet, get the legs really strong. And then inhale the arms up. Finding your balance in crescent lunge or warrior one. Really squeezing the inner thighs towards one another, keeping those legs strong. Inhale, stretch the fingertips up. Exhale, bring the arms into cactus, open the chest. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, cactus. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, cactus. Inhale the arms up. Exhale, float them down to the mat. And then step the front foot back to plank. Bring the knees to the ground. And then very slowly lower down for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, hold, and then scoot forwards into your cobra. Relaxing the shoulders down the back, stretching that chest forwards. Couple of breaths here. Plenty of space between the shoulders and the ears. And then on your next exhale, come back down to the mat, tuck the toes. Take the hips back towards the heels. And then press up into your downward facing dog. Have a wiggle and a jiggle here wherever you need. Maybe stretching through the shoulders or pedaling through the legs. Wherever you feel like you need to move, then move. Then float the right foot up behind you, stretching those toes up as high as you can. And then bring that foot all the way forwards, placing it between the hands. Ground down through the back leg into warrior two legs. And then windmill your arms up to warrior two. Stretching the fingers apart from one another, really strong in the legs. Looking out over the front fingers with a soft gaze. Pull the tummy muscles in, make the legs really strong. Pressing the feet down into the mat for a couple of breaths. Then windmilling the hands around to frame the front foot. Spin onto the toes of the back foot and then step the front foot back. We've come back into plank. Take a nice big inhale, push up to downward facing dog. Exhale, come forwards into plank, nice low hips. Inhale, go back up into downward facing dog. Exhale, come forwards into plank. Inhale up into downward facing dog. Exhale forward, coming into plank. Hips nice and low. Pull the core tummy muscles in. Press the ground away so the shoulders are engaged. Excellent, then bring the knees down and then lay your whole body down onto the mat. Keeping the hands underneath the shoulders. Press the toes into the mat so the legs are engaged. Press the hip bones into the mat so that the whole of the lower body is engaged. Take a nice big inhale. On an exhale, peel the chest and the hands up off the mat and then back down again. Inhale up, exhale down. Inhale up, exhale down. Inhale up, exhale down. One more. Inhale up, exhale down. Put one hand on top of the other in crocodile pose. Rest the head on the back of the hands. Just have a couple of breaths here. Okay, this time, take the hands behind your back. Interlace the fingers and stretch the arms away, extending the index finger. Take a nice big inhale and then pull your chest up off the floor, stretching those fingers down towards your heels. Press the toes into the mat, press your hip bones into the mat so the lower body is engaged. Nice big inhale here. See if you can lift a little bit higher. Holding for another breath. And then come all the way back down onto the mat. One hand on top of the other, head on top. And just relax, have a couple of restorative breaths. And take the hands behind you again. Stretching the fingers away, extending the index finger. This time, take a nice big inhale. On an exhale, peel the chest away from the mat. Press the toes down, press the hip bones down. On an inhale, release it off a little way, but not all the way. Then exhale it back up. Inhale off a little, exhale it back up. Inhale off, and then exhale it all the way back up. And then relax, one hand on top of the other, forehead on top. 3 really deep breaths, completely relaxing everything onto the mat. Next one is to engage and strengthen the whole back line of the body. So this time, arms straight out in front, legs as long as you possibly can. And then keeping your arms and legs as straight as you can. Lift all 4 limbs up off the floor, really reaching them up as high as you can. Keep the muscles around your bones engaged because it will make them easier to lift. And then keep breathing. Keep the core engaged. Really feel your tummy muscles working. Feel the muscles around the back of your waist working. Keep breathing, keep holding, just a little bit longer, maybe another breath, and then release. One hand on top of the other, 3 deep breaths. Then take the arms out long again. Same again. Take a nice big inhale. On an exhale, lift the 4 limbs up nice and strong and long. Really engage all the muscles around your legs, around your arms. Keep breathing. Engage the core. Pull the tummy muscles in. Use the muscles around the back of the waist. See if you can lift your limbs a little bit higher. Another breath. Maybe lift it a little bit higher. Really squeeze those muscles. One more breath. And relax and release back down onto the mat. 3 deep breaths here. Good. Then bring the hands underneath your shoulders. Take the hips back towards the heels. Open the knees so we come into a wide leg child's pose. So after all that work on the back line of the body, we just need to neutralise and relax it out again. So just relax in your wide leg child pose. focusing on the breath, relaxing the elbows down to the mat, stretching the tailbone down towards your heels. Just taking some nice, deep, restorative breaths. Then lifting the head, coming up into tabletop, kind of. Cross your ankles and roll all the way over and stretch the legs out in front. So we come into a seated position. So starting, legs are nice and engaged, toes flexed back towards the face. Take the arms straight out in front of you. Take a nice big inhale, then pivot from the hips as you reach as far forward as you can, and then just let the hands come down. Wherever they land, it will be different each day. And then just roll the body around and just let the upper body hang over the lower body. Taking a few breaths here. No effort, just letting any tension that might be left in the spine elongate and relax. And then rolling that spine back up to stack the spine on top of one another. Bring the right foot in towards you and then step that right foot up and over so it comes to the outside edge of the left knee. Keeping both sit bones on the floor, reach the right arm round behind you and tuck the left elbow over the knee. Keeping your torso nice and tall. Try and twist around through the spine, looking out over your right shoulder. One more breath here. Then release the elbow over the knee and twist around for a counter twist. Just a very gentle twist in the opposite direction. Then coming back to center, unravel the legs, right leg goes out long, bring the left leg in, step it up and over the right knee. Again, making sure the sit bones are nice and firmly in touch with the ground, sitting up nice and tall through our spine. Take the left arm around behind us, and then bring the right elbow in front of the knee and twist. Keep the tummy muscles pulling in to support the lower back. On each inhale, try and reach the head towards the ceiling. And on each exhale, see if you can twist a little further. And then coming back to center, keep moving all the way around in the other direction for a gentle counter twist. And then untangle the legs. Bring the legs to the side and then come up onto your knees in the center of your mat. So we've done forward bends and lateral bends in the warm down. Forward bends and twists. Now we need to do lateral bends and back bends. So take the left leg out to the side. You want your hips to stay above the knee, the standing knee. And then gradually stretch your left hand down your left leg and bring the right arm up and over. So you should really feel the stretch somewhere down the right side of the body. Trying to keep the top armpit open towards the ceiling. It's very easy for the body to want to come forwards. to keep that shoulder open towards the ceiling. Beautiful. Couple more breaths here. And then the top hand reaches around for the back foot, and we stretch the other arm open, pressing the hips forwards and moving into a backward bend. Looking back at the fingers of the top hand, so looking back at your left fingertips, really stretching the hips forward. Pull the core muscles in and float around back to your side bend. Take a nice big inhale here. On an exhale, float around towards your backward bend. An inhale here in your backward bend. On an exhale, float around towards your sideways bend. Inhale here, and then exhale, float around to your backward bend. Really stretching those hips forward and reaching your chest towards the ceiling. Coming back to neutral, hands at heart center, bring the long leg in, take the other leg out. So start by taking the right hand down the right leg and stretching the top arm up and over. And just have a couple of breaths there, allowing the side to open. Reorganizing yourself if you need to. Okay, on your next inhale, think about moving. On an exhale, take it around towards that backward bend. So reaching for the calf or the heel, reaching the top arm over, stretching the hips forward. Take an inhale here. Exhale, float it around towards the sideways bend. Inhale here. Exhale, float it back around, reach for the heel. Take the hips forward, open the chest. Inhale here. And then exhale, float it around into the sideways bend, keeping that shoulder open towards the ceiling. Nice big inhale. Exhale, float it back around into the backward bend, stretching the right fingertips back, looking back towards those fingertips, taking the hips forward, stretching the chest towards the ceiling. Inhale, and then exhale, coming back to neutral. Bringing the knees back down, turning around on your mat. Hands go down. You've got two options here, because I know some of you hate pigeon, some of you love pigeon. So if you are a pigeon lover, bring your left knee towards your left wrist, untuck the back toes, and come into pigeon. So your hips are facing forwards, the front left leg is bent, and the back leg is out nice and long. If you hate pigeon, come into 90-90. So the front shin is parallel with the top of the mat, and the right leg is going out to the sides with the right shin parallel to the side of the mat. So it's up to you, either 90-90, or if you prefer pigeon, then come into pigeon. If you're doing pigeon and you want an extra quad stretch, keep your hips facing forwards, bend up the back foot and reach around for it with the right hand. Obviously that's an optional extra. It's entirely up to you how much or how little you want to stretch today. If you're in the bind, release the bind. If you're in 90-90, you can flip yourself around to 90-90 the other way. If you're in pigeon, tuck the back toe, step the left foot back, bring the right foot forwards, and come into pigeon on the other side. If you're in pigeon and you want to take that extra stretch into the quad, then bend the left leg up, reach around with your left hand, and pull your heel in towards your glutes. Couple more breaths here. If you're in the bind, release it off. If you're in pigeon, drop the right heel down and bring the legs all the way to the front. If you're in 90-90, then again swing your legs around to the front of the mat. Legs are nice and engaged to start with, hands straight out in front of us. Tuck the tailbone under and then very, very slowly, gently, leisurely roll yourself down all the way. When it's hard, squeeze in, hold for a second, then keep going until you're laid down on your mat. And then allow the body to be fully supported by the ground beneath you. Let the feet fall open, let the legs be heavy, let the pelvis be heavy, let the torso, the shoulders, the arms and the head all be heavy. Make sure the shoulders are tucked underneath the torso so they're nice and comfortable. Make sure that there's plenty of space in your lower back. If you can, keep the legs out long with the feet falling open to the sides. But if you do have any pain in the lower back, bring the feet to the floor and let the knee roll in into constructive rest position. Palms can be face up if that's comfortable for you. And if you're feeling like you need to be grounded further, then the palms can be face down. Just take this moment on your mats and thank yourselves for showing up this evening and putting your body through its paces, stretching it out, working on your strength, increasing your mobility. Give yourself a little virtual pat on the back for making the effort when it's so easy to make excuses. And then take the awareness to your breath. Not trying to change it in any way, just noticing the breath coming and going, ebbing and flowing in and out of the body. Notice the breath on its journey, the length of the breath, the depth of the breath, where it moves your body, how it feels coming into your body on the inhale and making its exit on the exhale. The natural character of your unique breath. And then wherever you've wandered off to, just bring your awareness back to your body. Maybe wiggling your fingers and your toes or scraping your thumb over each of the finger pads. Move your body in whatever way it wants to move. If you just want to roll your head from side to side, then do that. If you want to have a stretch, or a twist, or hug the knees in. Whatever your body craves, make that movement. And then when you're ready, roll over onto your side and make your way up to seated. Thank you for practicing with me this evening and for making the effort to show up on your mats. And I hope to see you again soon.